by homelessness? I know that I sure have. Well, there are 580,000 people in the United States who are affected by homelessness. We do see them on many street corners these days. It can be somebody who's young, somebody who's old, somebody who's black, who's white. It doesn't matter. It has no demographic. It can affect anybody. And many times we know somebody who's been homeless or is currently homeless. I know that I have. I have family members, I have friends, I've had significant others even be homeless. Some are even still suffering from homelessness. We need to help these people get into a safe space where they can call home and be warm. Today I'm going to talk about the problem of homelessness, how we can solve it, and what even causes it. Homelessness, like I mentioned, affects a large variety of the population. It could be someone who's young, it could be someone who's old, middle-aged even, of any race or ethnicity. There is no demographic for homelessness, and there's no situation that necessarily puts you into a homeless place. It can just happen. According to the Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development of May of 1994, the growing population of homeless students has prompted legislators to create laws to respond to their needs. The Stuart B. McKinney Act was passed in Congress in 1987 to ensure homeless children receive the same educational opportunities that other children receive under the system. This act enables them to receive food assistance, home services, job training to prepare them for future work, several programs which aim to expand the authorities' awareness of the existence of homeless students that have been developed. So basically, there is a growing population of students nationwide actually that are being affected by homelessness. Being homeless can affect their grades, it can affect their social needs, and so many other areas. So it's become a major thing for the law to kind of look into to kind of help these kids get out of that situation, to help them get into a better basis for life going forward, to hopefully keep them out of this situation. Like I mentioned, it doesn't discriminate against race or ethnicity at all. And it doesn't matter if you were poor or if you're rich. Anybody can end up homeless. It's totally a case-by-case situation. There are many side effects from homelessness. Such include their safety being at risk. Like I mentioned previously, we do see homeless people on many street corners. Many of them often sleep there, or they sleep at bus stops. And with the weather here in Arizona, that's not a safe thing for them to be. It's hot outside, it's 100+ degrees many days, so they're getting overly exhausted from the heat. They're really warm, they're overheating. But aside from just the heat issues, it's also not safe for cars. There's many car accidents every single day, and them being on the street corner is a perfect spot for them to get hit by a car. And this is an unfortunate circumstance, but it happens more often than not. They also have higher risk for mental health issues, whether it be something prior that may have led to their homelessness, or whether it be something that they developed from their homelessness. Being on the streets is hard, mentally, physically, emotionally. It puts them in a place where they feel down on themselves, and it can be a really hard hole to dig themselves out of. According to S.R. Taylor Publishing, in March of 2016, the next problem is communication. Many homeless veterans have no idea where help is or that it's available to them. So one problem is for veterans, but also anybody else in particular, is that they don't know how to get the help that they need. Help's out there, but it can be hard to get. The VA is hard to get assistance from, or any other government-assisted programs. And homelessness can be caused by different things. One of the major things that is a leading cause of homelessness is the inability to pay rent. According to the Social Security Administration in March of 2016, many individuals with serious mental health issues are potentially eligible for supplemental security income payments, but the nature of their impairment poses obstacles for completing the process. So this is another thing that relates back to mental health issues that we were talking about earlier. These issues can make it hard for them to apply. Maybe they know where to apply, but they don't know how, or they can't complete the process because of their own mental health issues, whether it be depression, schizophrenia, or any other kind of mental illnesses. So for my idea on how we can solve the issues of homelessness, I would say that we need to convert more buildings in more vacant buildings. There's vacant buildings everywhere. They need to be renovated into safe spaces where homeless people can stay, whether it be permanent, whether it be temporary. We need programs to help get them onto their feet and get a home where they can live. According to the Christian Century Foundation, on December 2nd of 2020, to offset shelter space, loss of shelter spaces at churches, Room in the Inn is taking on a hybrid approach, sheltering people in churches and several other locations, including the gym and a former Catholic school. The second floor is a day center in Nashville and the Dextral House. The Dextral House, it wasn't always great. It was not necessarily the best place, but it has since been renovated and they are keeping homeless people there so that they have a warm, safe space to do. And I think that we need to follow through with more of this. There's many vacant buildings that can be renovated rather easily using either money from government-funded programs or fundraising or even volunteer work. That way we can convert these areas to homes for them to live or stay for a time being. I think it's very important that we advocate for more of this funding. According to the National Review Incorporated, on May 17th of 2021, homeless shelters can no longer be single-sexed and receive federal funding, according to the new rule from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The move, which overturns a Trump policy, mandates access to HUD-funded programs, regardless of sexual orientation or sexual identity. So this is a huge thing. We all know right now that it's a hot topic, sexual identity or gender identity. And this puts a stop to those single housing areas that can be a little discriminatory and not include everybody. You have to be able to include anybody who's homeless to receive funding, which is very important, and many government-funded programs should be like this. We also need to advocate for more government programs to help these people. So, of course, with being able to do these lots, it is pricey, so fundraising will definitely help, but we do see that there are many places that are starting to renovate lots. According to the Pyramid Media Group, on March 2nd of 2021, the Denver City Council voted on Monday to spend $10.2 million to provide hotel and motel rooms for homeless people. While this isn't something that is permanent, like renovating vacant lots so that they do have a safe place to live, it does give them a safe space to be, at least for the time being, for at least a night or several nights, which can be extremely helpful for them. Give them somewhere to be warm, but also somewhere to clean themselves up. We all need a safe, warm shelter to be. Another place that is doing this is Boston Pine Street Inn, and according to the U.S. Government Printing Office of spring of 1990, an emergency shelter run by a private nonprofit organization, the Pine Street Inn, and its satellites provide 880 beds a night for single adult men and women. Largely through the support of its volunteers, the inn serves 2 meals a day, 7 days a week, for more than 1,600 people. So this is major. This happened back in the 90s. We need to push more for this. More programs, more places, more organizations that are like this. it's great. It's giving people 2 meals a day. Many homeless people don't know where their next meal is coming from. You see them on the corners asking for money so that they can eat, and they don't oftentimes get that money to be able to eat. Not only does this provide them a warm, safe space to live so that they don't have to be on the streets and risk getting hit by cars, risk getting sick, risk heat exposure and exhaustion and sunburns, but they also get meals. They don't have to worry where their next meal is coming from. They don't have to worry about dropping weight or any health issues that come from not being able to eat. So, in conclusion, the way that we can help homeless people or help to prevent homelessness is to be creating more programs that advocate for them. Homelessness is an issue that's nationwide, even globally, that affects people. More organizations, more volunteers, more funding. We need to renovate lots for them to have a safe space to live, or create programs even just to give them meals. It's something super important for human survival. It's a major social issue, especially since we do see them everywhere that we go suffering. Oftentimes we turn our heads. We need to help them. We need to turn our head towards them and offer them our hand. My family has been affected by homelessness, and we've had to pull together to be able to get this person back on their feet. And it's something that we need to do as a community as well, not just as families. To conclude, there are many ways that we can help and prevent homelessness from these 580,000 people or more to come.